Are we live? Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, looks like I am live. And if you're here, make sure you leave a comment down below so I know who you are. Let me know. Say hello. Hello, Mr. Dennis. How are you? Okay. Do a quick hair check. By the way, you like my haircut? I got a haircut. Yes, it looks great. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. Okay. Coffee. By the way, if you want to support the show, I do love coffee, and you can check out the link that's scrolling on the bottom of the page there and buy me a coffee. Just open up a new tab, and it'll be great. Okay, let's go to our presentation and get this show on the road. All right, we got one person in the house. Let me know who you are. Make sure you leave a comment. Let me know where you're from and all of that good stuff. And let's get ready. Okay. Okay. Oops. Nope, that's the wrong one. Hey, that's me. A quick. Mandy. Hi, Mandy. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome. Okay. So, Mandy, this show is for you. You asked for this, and hopefully you have come with some good questions. Let me put in my earpiece here, make sure that we're good to go. And all right. Okay. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. All right. Welcome, 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 English learners of the entire world. Even if you're not watching right now, and especially welcome to you, Mandy, who is watching. And are you ready to unravel the mystery behind some of the most commonly misunderstood English phrases? If so, then grab a seat, get comfortable, prepare to take some notes, because tonight's episode of All About English Live is going to be a good one. I am your host, Dennis Wilborn, and I am very excited to dive into some of the most confusing English phrases. Well, let me get the screen with you. There we go. My picture. There we go. So, some of the most confusing English phrases. Oh no, don't tell me my Wi-Fi is going to die out on me. All right, well, let's let the Wi-Fi catch up. Just a second here. All right. All right. So, I mean, as I was saying, I am your host, Dennis Wilborn. I'm very excited to dive in to the show tonight. We're going to cover some of the most confusing phrases in the English language. Not a lot, just four. And it doesn't matter if you're an intermediate learner or advanced English learner. This show is perfectly designed. It's the great opportunity to help you sharpen your language skills and gain some valuable insights into the quirks, into the nuances, into all the little strange things that make English such a challenge, but also so much fun. So get ready to have some more fun, learn some new phrases, and be amazed at how quickly you'll be able to master these common English expressions. So don't forget to stick around until the end of the show for our bonus tip, and that will take your English to another level. So are you ready to go? Huh? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you are. All right, let's do this. Jump in with our first expression, which is, let me get to that slide there, which is barking up the wrong tree. Barking up the wrong tree. We definitely don't want to bark up the wrong tree. We're going to bark up the right tree when it comes to this phrase. We are talking about a phrase that kind of doesn't make sense sometimes. If you've heard it, if this is the first time you're hearing this, you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. If you have heard it before, you probably wondered what the other people were talking about. How can there be a wrong tree and a right tree? Are dogs really that confused, or are they talking about the bark on the outside of the tree? Well, It's not that dogs are confused, although some of them are. This phrase actually means that you are doing something or pursuing something that is really unlikely to be successful. But don't worry, I have a tip to help you understand this phrase to make it crystal clear. The key is to focus on the wrong tree part of the expression. Okay. So just picture in your mind, or look at the picture there. You've got a dog and he's barking up a tree where there is no squirrel. Dogs tend to bark up trees where there are squirrels or other animals. Well, if they're pursuing the wrong thing, meaning the tree with no squirrel, then they're doing it wrong. So next time someone says, "Hey, sorry, you're barking up the wrong tree," you'll know exactly what they mean. So remember, the trick is the wrong tree. Key phrase there. Wrong. Yeah, see, that was easy, right? Super easy, Dennis. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along. Oh my gosh. Who let the cat out of the bag? So I'm not going to beat around the bush. Beat around the bush. Now, there's a good phrase for you. I'm not going to waste your time here. We all know how curious cats can be. And that's why the phrase, let the cat out of the bag, can be a little confusing. But here's how I'm going to help you understand this commonly misunderstood phrase. So, what does it mean exactly to say, let the cat out of the bag? Well, actually, what it means is to reveal a secret. So, but why is it a cat and a bag? So the tip to understand this phrase is to focus on the secret part. Think of the cat as representing the secret. So picture this. You're hiding a secret in a bag, and it just happens to be a secret cat. Someone accidentally drops the cat out of the bag. The cat goes screaming, runs across the room. Everybody's surprised. Oh my gosh, you had a cat in your bag the whole time? Suddenly, the secret's out for everyone to see. And that's exactly what this phrase is all about. It means to reveal something that was supposed to be kept hidden. Yeah, so next time you try to carry your purse in with your cat hidden in there, uh, you know, don't let the cat out of the bag. All right. If you hear somebody say that, now you know. It means that they've shared a secret that they probably shouldn't have. Yeah, you kind of hear this a lot when people accidentally share something that maybe they didn't know was a secret. Children do this all the time. Children are notorious for letting the cat out of the bag. So be careful what you say around your kids, because they'll tell everybody, even if they don't know if it's a secret. All right. So now, I don't know if you have noticed, but I have started doing some interesting little extras on my shorts on my this YouTube channel. I do shorts every day. I'm sure you've probably seen me tying my tie and giving some advice. Well, now I'm also doing little idiom stories, and that I got the idea for that because of Mandy's request to uh, explain some of these weird idioms that maybe are hard to understand. And I'm sure you might be having a hard time sometimes when you hear people say things that don't make a whole lot of sense. One of the idioms that I shared this week was cutting corners, ting corners. Now, it sounds like arts and crafts, but buckle up, because no, I'm not talking about art class. And that's why this phrase can be a little bit confusing. I'm not here saying we're going to cut the corners off your papers. What does it really mean? What it means is that you're doing something quickly without following the proper procedure. But why cut and why corners? So the tip for understanding the phrase is to focus on the shortcut part. Think of someone who's taking a risky or a dangerous shortcut on a racetrack by cutting across the corner. As you can see, these motorcycle guys are not taking a shortcut, but they're almost taking a shortcut. They're pretty close to that edge. So imagine that you're in a race, you're falling behind, so you decide to take a shortcut by cutting across a corner. Sure, you might save some time, but it's risky. It could result in a dangerous accident. Somebody might get hurt. So that's why cutting corners means you're taking a risk. You're making a dangerous shortcut to save time or effort. Usually, it means that you're really lowering the quality of something because you're taking a shortcut. Anyway, remember, when it comes to things that are very important and stuff you're doing for your clients and for your customers, don't cut corners. So, and if you hear someone using the phrase, now you'll know what they mean. Yeah, be sure you're not cutting corners when you're studying your English or when you're talking to people who are customers. Safety first. All right. And the next one, you may have heard this expression before. The ball is in your court. The ball is in your court. I don't know. Have you heard it before? Raise your hand. This is the fourth of the four phrases that I prepared for today. And of course, if you're ready, I can answer your questions at the end if you have any more phrases you would like me to explain. But this one is very interesting. I probably should share the slide with you. I just realized I'm not sharing the slides. Okay. So now you can see me again. The ball is in your court. And just in case you didn't see the last one, there's the racetrack on cutting corners. I'm so sorry I left that one out. So remember to cut corners. See, look at me. Here I am cutting corners. I'm trying to do too many things at the same time. All right. The ball is in your court. What does this phrase mean? If you've heard it, it is commonly misunderstood because sometimes people think we're talking about sports, but this actually has nothing to do with sports. It's not at all regarding the actual sport. What it means is that it's someone else's turn to take action or make a decision. That decision doesn't rest with me anymore. That is your decision, or that's your turn to speak, or it's your decision to make. So imagine that you're playing a game of tennis and you hit your ball to the other side. The ball is now in their court and they have to hit it back to you. And now the ball is in your court again. So the tip to understanding the phrase is to focus on your court. That's the part of the phrase to remember. Your court. So when the ball is in your court, you have control over what happens next. Okay. So don't drop the ball and get ready because we're coming up on our bonus tip. Okay. Just so you know, it is possible for you to say, listen, the ball's in my court now. Okay. If it's your turn to make the decision, you can say, you've had your turn. The ball's in my court now. Okay. Don't be afraid to stand up for your turn to speak. Okay. Are you ready for the bonus tip? We've talked about some confusing phrases. I don't know. You let me know. Were these phrases confusing? Did I do a good job of choosing the confusing phrases, or do you have phrases that are more confusing? So, if you come across one and you're listening to someone in a conversation, maybe you're listening to a podcast, maybe you're having an actual conversation and you're in a meeting or something like that, I'm going to give you a couple of tips. The first tip is if you're listening to a podcast or reading an article, pick yourself up an English language learners dictionary. You can find them online. You can find them in a number of many places. And if you need a link for that, just let me know. I'll give you a link where you can find one pretty easily. You can also find the definitions in that dictionary, and they'll use the phrase in a sentence. You can also look it up on the internet. Just do a quick Google search or take out your phone and just, I'm going to search on my phone. And you'll be surprised. Make sure after you type in the phrase, put it in quotation marks and type in the word meaning or definition. You'll be surprised how quickly you can find the information you need on the internet these days. There are so many search engines that you can do. And that's really the best way to find out if you're not in a conversation. Now, if you are in a conversation, I know it's a little frightening, but this is a really good opportunity for you to break the ice with someone. You can say, huh, that's a very interesting expression. I've never heard that before. Could you tell me what it means? And if you're speaking with a native speaker, maybe they can tell you exactly what it means. Uh, if you're not speaking with a native speaker, then maybe you can use that opportunity to look it up together, because they may know what it means in the context, but they may not know how to use it, or what the origin is. I'm kind of a word nerd. I like to look up origins of different words from time to time. So, all right, that is a wrap for today. I want to say thank you very much for joining me. And oh, excuse me, a little dry throat today. And I hope you enjoyed learning about these commonly misunderstood English phrases. And hopefully the tips that I gave you will help you better remember them in the future. So remember, improving your English skills, it takes time, it takes practice, it takes patience, but you can achieve fluency if you're dedicated and you're using the right resources. The right resources can be books and the internet. You can use apps on your phone, but you really can't beat conversations and practicing your speaking. So if you want to really improve your skills, practice speaking. You can join me one-on-one on Amazing Talker. There's a link down below in the description of this video, and I'll tag one in the comments a little bit later. Okay, don't be afraid to ask questions, make mistakes, keep on learning. And you can always join me here every single day of the week for a short video. You'll get some interesting phrases used in context. That's why I call them idiom stories. Also, you get some tips and advice with my Thai Talks, and I'll be throwing a few new things in there as we progress. So, and don't forget, join me next week on Saturday night for another exciting, interesting, maybe a little bit funny episode of All About English Live. Until then, keep practicing, never give up. And now I'll have time for a few questions to anybody who would like to ask. I see I've got at least three people in the audience tonight. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer. So let me take a sip of water. My goodness. Okay. And follow that up with coffee. Okay. I feel much better now. So feel free to leave your expressions or leave your comments or questions in the comment box. We have one question right now from excuse me. I love that name. Excuse me, because that's the great way to start asking a question if you ever need to. Excuse me, like if you're at a restaurant, excuse me, waiter, I could use some more water because I have a really dry throat. And the question that excuse me says, when you have a dry throat, is there a way to say that you have a dry throat? Yes, of course. I just said, I have a dry throat. That's one way. You can also say, oh, I'm a little parched. Parched. That's a good word. It means dry. But yeah, the most common expression would be like, I'm parched, or feels like I've got sandpaper in my throat. Or now there is an idiom that says, I have a frog in my throat. You may have heard, I have a frog in my throat. That's not really when you have a dry throat, though. A frog in your throat is more of when you have a sore throat, or when you have when you kind of lost your voice because your throat is really scratchy. So you sound like this a little bit because you have a. See, I can't do it because I don't have a frog in my throat at the moment. So Yeah. So when you have a sore throat, you might say, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat, and it makes you talk funny. But if you just have a dry throat, say, oh man, I am so parched. Could I have a glass of water? Okay. That's a good question. That's a good question. I am not seeing any more questions right now, but well, thank you. I thank you very much. Excuse me. I like that. Okay, cool. Here's a fun little thing. Excuse me. You're very talkative tonight. Excuse me. Easy peasy mac and cheesy. I haven't heard that in a little while. When something is super simple and you want to sound cute when you're saying it, uh, you can say, wow, that's easy. Or you could say, that's easy peasy. And if you really want to get cute, easy peasy, mac and cheesy. It just means that something is really simple. And why is that even funny? Well, easy peasy is not even really a word. So it's just a made up cute word. Mac and cheese is short for macaroni and cheese. It's not related to easy, although it is really easy to make and really easy to eat because it's delicious. If you haven't tried macaroni and cheese, you've got to try it. Mac and cheese. So easy peasy, mac and cheesy. That will definitely have you sounding like a native in no time. All right, that's very cool. Oh, I'm not seeing any more questions tonight. I thought we were going to have some good questions. What kind of comments are you having a hard time understanding? What kind of phrases do you not understand? Um, or like excuse me just said, is there a phrase for a different type of situation? That would be a good challenge for me. So if you're still watching, I am going to share one thing. I had not planned on doing this, but I'm going to share. Let me open it up. I'm going to share a really good site for idioms. Okay, where is that? Idiom. Is that it? I should probably. You can get on the internet and search for idioms anytime you want, and it's very easy and simple. But there's one site that I really like, if I can remember it. I haven't looked at it in a while. Um, that yeah, here it is. It's called The Idioms, the largest idioms dictionary on the internet. Let me share that tab with you so you can see it. Okay, and I will kind of shrink this down a little bit so I can see you. I can't see you. All right, can you see that? Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. Before I share the idioms, I'm going to talk about answering this question. Mandy, I've heard a client say, "You just blew me away." Blew me away to blow someone away. Wow, that is a really good one. Yeah. So Mandy says she didn't know how to react at that moment. So I don't know if you have figured out that expression just now, to blow someone away. Now we use that expression to talk about two kinds of situation. One is literally blowing something up. You blow it up and boom, it goes away. So blown away. Not a good place to be. But we also use that to say that we're really surprised. We're really surprised. Wow, you just really surprised me. So imagine like the little emoji guy with his head just kind of explodes. I'm sure you've seen that emoji on your phone somewhere. The little emoji face with the head exploding. That is the expression of to be blown away. Wow, I am blown away. There's using it in the past tense. You blew me away. That's also being used in the past tense. So I hope that answers that question. So here's my little cheat. That's not really a cheat, but I am going to share the page with you. It's called the idioms. The idioms. And you can see the idioms. It's quite a good little site. Um, they do have an idiom of the day. Not all of them are the best. Let's see if I can get this where I can see it more clearly. There we go. A little more. Is that better? And it explains a little bit more about what an idiom is and how to use one. So the idioms, the largest idioms dictionary. Um, Top 10 common idioms. Now, an idiom is not always an expression, but it's pretty useful. You can come in here and you can search for idioms. But here's a few common idioms. A hot potato. A hot potato. Not literally a hot potato, but a hot potato is a controversial issue or situation that is awkward or unpleasant to deal with. Yeah, nobody likes to have the hot potato. So here's a really common one: a piece of cake, something that is easy to do. Something so easy, we just say, wow, that's a piece of cake. Many people say, by mistake, well, that was a piece of pie. Not quite the same. There is another expression that goes with that: piece of cake and easy as pie. Easy as pie. Piece of cake, easy as pie. So there you have. I've given you 3 ways to say something's easy today. Easy peasy mac and cheesy. Thanks. Excuse me. Piece of cake and easy as pie. So that is a really good website. You should check that out if you get a chance. Okay. And I heard a client. Oh, okay. So I don't have any more. I don't see any more questions. Mandy, I see I didn't put a question mark. When did you put a question mark? You didn't make a question. Let's see. You made a statement. I've heard a client say, well, said you just blew me away, and then you said I didn't know how to react at that moment. Those are both statements. No need for a question mark. Oh, well, there's the question. What does the phrase mean? You just blew me away. Did I drop out, or am I just really late? Just so if you missed it, I did explain that to be blown away, or you just blew me away means literally the client was saying, you really surprised me. You really surprised me. So it's quite a compliment. If someone says, wow, you really blew me away, that means they were surprised by whatever it was that you did. So if I know you, Mandy, I think they were probably really surprised by how well you sold them on the product that you were describing. Yeah, that would be my guess. So they were really blown away. Another way that he could have said that was, wow, you really knocked my socks off. Yeah, there's a bonus for you. To knock your socks off is also to be really surprised. It surprised me so much that my socks just went across the room. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Angela. Angela says, thank you for making these educational videos. I try to be educational, and I appreciate you and for your comments. It's very nice. And all right. Do we have any more questions before I go? Okay. I'm just going to let it little. We're almost to 30 minutes, so that seems like a really good stopping point. Oh, here is another question. Let's see. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm going to put subtitles in here later, and every time I say the little AI that cuts out filler words is going to try to cut out your name. Excuse me. Question: is it correct to say I'm abnormal? Is it correct if I say I'm abnormal? You'll ever come across what? What? You'll ever come cross. You will ever come cross. Have I'm not sure I understand that question. Is it correct to say I'm abnormal? It is. I mean, it is not grammatically wrong to say I am abnormal, but I think it would be a little bit strange to say that about yourself. Um, because abnormal is not really colloquial. It's not really a conversational expression. Um, you know, we would just say that's strange, or if you're talking about yourself, I'm not normal. Abnormal means not normal. It is a good word to have in your dictionary, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not normal. I'm abnormal. Normally, I don't wouldn't say that about a person. I might say, I have this abnormal mole on my nose or something like that. Um, yeah. And if you do have something abnormal, then you should probably get the doctor to check that out. But to say that you yourself are abnormal, no, I would never suggest that. Okay. Okay. That was a good question. Good question. Okay. The chat must be running slowly or something. Knock your socks off? Yeah, knock your socks off means to be very surprised. Wow, something really knocked my socks off. I had some mac and cheese, some macaroni and cheese the other day. It was so good, it knocked my socks off. It was delicious. So, okay. So, here's a good point. Angela says, I don't know how to use most of the idioms because I'm afraid that I misuse those idioms. Okay. I misuse those idioms. Well, I I just want to encourage you, not don't be afraid to use idioms just because you're going to misuse them. If you want to study idioms, then take the time to really kind of review them. Now, one of the things I like about this website here, the idioms.com, is let's say you're going to look at a piece of cake. Your meaning, the meaning is a very easy task, something easily done, very simple work. So this is a great website. Look at all these example sentences. Don't worry, Sophie. This job interview will be a piece of cake for you. You have all the skills they need, and I think you're absolutely the best candidate. See, that's nice. That's got a little shorts. Oh, I'm losing my internet. I wanted to make those idiom stories short because the more you hear the idioms in context rather than just reading, oh, a piece of cake means something easy. Read the sentences. You'll be able to understand it better. Another idea. This one has an origin story. It is believed that this phrase was invented in the 1870s during slavery in the southern states of America. As part of a dance or celebration organized by slave owners, Black slaves would compete in cake walks, performing a dance which imitated and subtly mocked the elaborate and ostentatious gestures of the white slave owners. Meaning, like this, oh, they're just walking. Uh, the most elegant couple or team would be given a cake as an award. It seems that the white slave owners didn't understand that they were being mocked in these elaborate cakewalk dances and took great delight in watching their slaves emulating their refined behavior. The piece of cake that was awarded as the prize to the best couple or team came to be known among the blacks as something very easy to obtain. So, a very short underhand of and hidden insult to unknowing white ruling class. So there you go. Piece of cake. I really love the this website. It just whoever put this together did a great job. So if you want to hear the origin, just imagine doing a very easy thing and getting a piece of cake for it. Okay. So I hope that helps, Angela. I really do, because the best thing you can do is try to practice, try to do your best to make mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the more you'll learn. Don't be afraid, just do it. Because it's much better to make a mistake and learn and grow than let fear hold you back from making those mistakes, hold you back from even trying. Because think about all of the things that you'll miss out on in life if you let fear take control, you know? So that's all I got to say about that. Please don't be afraid. And feel free to ask questions anytime. Take a private lesson. It's okay. I might even start doing group classes. I'm getting a lot of people asking me about that. So, okay. Unique. So excuse me. I think you're going on with the additional question there. You asked about saying I'm abnormal. Yeah, I would never say you're abnormal, but I might say that you are unique. Unique. You're very original. Okay. So that again is about all the time we have for today. I hope you've enjoyed this session of All About English Live. If you have any more questions, you better get them in the next couple of seconds. Otherwise, I'm going to say good night. Enjoy your weekend. And I am going to go hang out with my wife for a bit. Have a good night.